The chair now recognizes Representative Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Richardson, for being here. I wanted to start off with a disaster that's unfolding in the state of Utah right now, a fire that currently is, the Deer Creek fire has burned more than 17,000 acres, and we have over 580 firefighters and personnel on the line right now in the state of Utah. There's helicopters, dozers, and engines that are backing up these individuals trying to help with that. But I want to recognize their courage and thank FEMA for stepping in to help early with a fire management assistant grant. That's really important to us, and that federal support actually can make all the difference as we deal with the wildfires, not only in the state of Utah, but throughout the West. That said, serious challenges remain. In 2024. Utah expected to spend $12 million on wildfire suppression, and instead, we spent $28 million by late August. And FMAG reimbursements from previous fire seasons are still delayed for us, leaving the state to front the costs. Thanks to your leadership and the Utah State Legislature, we're now operating with a unified wildfire suppression fund that supports prevention and post-fire recovery. It's a forward-looking state-led model that gives Utah the flexibility to act quickly and invest wisely. Utah needs federal partners who help us move faster, not slow us down in these circumstances. I have a few questions regarding that. So the first question is, working with the Utah Legislature, we've got this wildfire suppression fund that is designed to manage all phases before, during, and after the fire. How is FEMA supporting that kind of state-led model, especially for major incidents like the Deer Creek fire and smaller fires like Amelia and Rye Draw?
Thank you for your question. So the way we manage that is not only through FEMA, but also through the FEMA, the regional administrator, and they work very closely with the states on those issues. I am very aware, my heart goes out to the people of Nevada of the fires. I get briefed on that nearly every day, so I see them. And so that's kind of how we handle that normally at the regional level. And the regional managers, they'll contact me, we're in close communication, and we work through any issues that happen. But no, that generally happens at the regional level, which is it's how it should be, because that is the closest to the state.
Good, thank you very much for that. As to these reimbursements, the assistance grants reimbursements, Utah is still waiting for FMAG payments from past fire seasons. What is FEMA doing to speed that up to help these states that have spent a lot of money to suppress these wildfires, often that are on federal lands?
So you're asking me how we're speeding up the FMAG process?
How do we speed up the FMAG process?
So I'm not real familiar with exactly how we do the FMAG. What I like to do is go back to my office and see exactly how it's done, and then we'll bring to you some recommendations.
Yeah, and anything we can do to help with that, with recommendations on your part or our part. The reality is this is in the state, but the federal lands are often implicated, which leads me to my final question. If I have any time remaining, I'll yield that to my chair. But the Deer Creek fire currently is crossing county and state lines as well as tribal lands. And what systems is FEMA using to support real-time coordination as we deal with various jurisdictions associated with these fires, which don't respect boundaries?
So are you asking me what technology we're using?
Technology or methods that we'll use as these fires cross various jurisdictions, including state lines, county lines, and tribal lands.
Once again, I'm going to have to get back with my staff, and I'll circle back with you.
Please do. Thank you very much.
I don't know the exact answer to that.
Mr. Chair, I'll yield time to you if I've got about a minute left, so please.
Chair, thanks the gentleman. Mr. Richardson, in previous questioning, it was implied that FEMA is, I think, uncaring, and many of us on either side of the aisle here have certainly plenty of, I think, justified criticism of FEMA. But in regard to the Texas fire or Texas flood and the search and rescue effort, is my understanding in the briefing last week that the governor requested the Coast Guard, indeed close by, one unit located in Houston. Neither unit could get to the site of the flooding and actually do search and rescue or recovery operations due to weather. And as a matter of fact, one of the members of the Coast Guard has been highly decorated for his actions on the ground there. Can you, look, like I said, we just want to make sure that we level set here and we understand what happened, what FEMA's role was. what FEMA was prepared for, but what was actually used by the governor. If FEMA was stationed on site, but the governor didn't want FEMA there because he wanted to use the Coast Guard because of a pre-existing relationship or because of capability or location, that's important to know now. Can you provide or shed any light on that issue?
Definitely, and thank you for the question. So let's back up. So from the second that I found out about the horrible disaster in Texas, what I was doing was coordinating, okay, from where I was coordinating to ensure that these assets were being applied to the disaster. Now, Texas Task Force 1, which is a FEMA paid for and equipped asset, was working also with the emergency state manager, but they also have a direct relationship with the Coast Guard, CBP, Public Health, and the Texas National Guard. So there were other forces on the ground that were either federal forces like Texas Task Force 1, which is a national, and then there was also other DHS assets. And through Secretary Noem's extraordinary leadership, my coordination, we made sure they were available to the Emergency Operations Center.
Appreciate the answer. The time of the gentleman is long expired, and I want to respect everybody on the committee. The chair now recognizes